Hey guys, so I wanted to cover iPad hardware. WWDC just ended and Apple released some new iPad Pros, and a little earlier this year Apple released a new lower priced iPad. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of start covering which iPad you should buy and what the use case for each one is. So let's take a look. So for this video's sake, I'm going to go ahead and leave out the iPad mini. It doesn't look like it's long for this world. It hasn't been updated in almost 2 years, and the one version of it available is the 126 gig at almost $400. So it's not really worth picking up right now. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that out of this video. Besides, most people, I think, now that bigger phones are around, the iPad mini isn't really for them. So let's take a look at some of the other iPads. So first up is the iPad Apple released earlier this year. It's a much lower priced iPad. And with that, I believe they're really targeting the audience that really just wants to play games and surf the web and maybe do some email and some light stuff on it. You absolutely could get work done on it, but for somebody like me that really, does video editing and photo editing and all that stuff, I want the latest and most powerful iPad available. And this isn't for me. It's still running an an iPhone processor, and it's the iPad Air just beefed up a little bit. It's really big, and it's the 9.7 inch screen, and it's not even really that good of a screen. It doesn't have the anti-glare stuff on it, so it's great for those that want to just play games and just surf the web and do email and other stuff like that. The next iPad is the 9.7 inch iPad Pro, which is no longer there. It's now a 10.5 inch iPad Pro. So on Monday, when Apple had their keynote, they announced that the new iPad Pro is 10.5 inches, with the base iPad Pro is 10.5 inches. It's just a little bit bigger, physically bigger than the 9.7 inch, but they minimized the bezels around the screen, or around the iPad, so the screen is quite a bit bigger. Pretty nice. I haven't got to play with one just yet, but from what I've heard, it's basically the 9.7 inch scaled up. So when you do multitasking, it's two iPhone apps side by side, which isn't really something I want. I want two full iPad apps side by side like it is on the 12.9. So I don't think this iPad is for somebody that primarily works off the iPad, or at least uses it as their primary computer. I think what this iPad is going to be good for is people that want to work on their iPad but want portability, or use it as a secondary computer. I think there's going to be a lot of people that do work on the 10.5 inch iPad, but I think for me and people like me that work primarily from their iPad, I think the 12.9 will still be the go-to one. Speaking of the 12.9, Apple also updated the 12.9 inch iPad. So both iPad Pros are now in sync. There's no more, the small one has True Tone, but the big one has USB 3.0 speeds. They're all in sync. All the features across the board are the same. The only difference is the screen size and the resolution. So the iPad Pro gets two iPad apps side by side in the split view, whereas the 10.5 gets two iPhone apps. So I think for me personally, I'm going to be sticking with the 12.9. The new iPad should be showing up in the Apple Store this coming week of when I'm recording this video. Right now it is Sunday, June 11th, so they should probably, I bet you they'll be in the Apple Stores by Tuesday. So I'm going to go in and take a look then. It may surprise me. I may end up with a 10.5 and use the 12.9 and the 10.5 in parallel, kind of like I've used my iPad Air 2 for the last couple years. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm really interested in the new 12.9 though. The faster processor, the True Tone, the 120 Hz refresh rate. I think those speed bumps and those spec bumps are going to be huge for people that use their iPad, especially creatively. So I'm looking forward to that. To kind of wrap it up, the 9.7 inch iPad, just the regular iPad, is for people that want to play games and surf the internet and do casual stuff. The 10.5, I think, is going to be people that want a iPad that's really, really portable, but they can get work done on it, or as a secondary computer. And the 12.9, I think, is going to be people that want that as their primary computer. They can get work done on it, and as a heavy, heavy machine that has a nice big screen to get work done on it. Like I said, the specs on the iPad Pros are identical. They also go up to 512 gigs of hard drive space, which was something I was asking for. I was really happy to see that. I will probably get a 512 gig 12.9 inch iPad Pro with LTE, most likely, because I don't have one with LTE right now, and I'd love to have the 12.9 inch with LTE. So that's kind of my thoughts on the new iPads. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability. Thanks, guys.